What's up, everybody? My name's Chance, and today we'll be diving into an all-new kind of aggro, a shape-shifting aggro. So this deck is designed around the all-new shapeshifters dropped in Kaldheim. I knew it was possible. It was just a matter of getting it to the right finesse, and we've done that, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're going to go on a 4-run streak with these Realm Walkers, with these Mass Vandals, and these Guardian Glade Walkers straight to, well, through Diamond a little bit, actually. So it's really nice, actually, the way this works. Changelings are creatures of every type, which means they're humans, they're mammoths, they're beasts, they're everything, oozes, you name it, which means yes, they're in fact satyrs. So we have Gallia of the Endless Dance, which is one of the main cards that I built this deck around. It's a 2-mana 2/2 haste. It gives other satyrs you control +1/+1 and haste, which means all of your changelings now have +1/+1 and a haste, which is a really good ability. Furthermore, whenever you attack with 3 or more creatures, you may discard a card at random. If you do, draw 2 cards, which obviously can give you card advantage and help you sift through your deck and find what you need to find. Sometimes it's bad, as you do discard the thing you don't want to, but then you draw 2 more cards, and so it's kind of okay, right? Speaking of our changelings that are going to be turning into satyrs, we have Mass Vandal, which y'all saw in the Mass Showdown deck. If you didn't see that, go check that out, by the way. That is an awesome deck as well. Anyways, this 2-mana 1/3 shape-shifting changeling, whenever it enters the battlefield, you may exile a creature card from your graveyard. If you do, you get to exile target artifact or enchantment that the opponent controls, which is really good if the opponent has, well, almost anything on their side of the board following those terms, right? Great Hinge, Embercleave, Annex, you name it. Most artifacts and enchantments played nowadays are big, heavy bangers. So having 2 copies of this card, one procs with the procs with the Gallia, so it can be a haster. That's a satyr and a haste creature combined. Anyways, so it can be a satyr with haste, also be a 2/4 instead of a 1/3. That's really nice for 2 mana. Furthermore, you have Guardian Glade Walker, 2-mana 1/1 whenever it enters the battlefield. Put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. Also, it can be a satyr, so it can come down and be a 2/2. If it puts a +1/+1 counter on itself, now it's a 3/3 with haste for 2 mana. That's really not that bad of a value proposition. We've had other things in Standard before that ran a similar stat line as that, right? With the Zertog, Goblin, and whatnot. So very strong card, very powerful at getting in and just dealing that damage early. We also have 4 copies of Swarm Shambler to help with those +1/+1 counters that we're gaining off the Guardian Glade Walker. And not to mention the fact that Swarm Shambler is a beast, which, like, quite literally, it's a fungus beast creature type. And beast is going to be what we're actually naming with the Realm Walker. That's right, we're not going to be naming satyrs, even though we have Gallia in the deck. This is more so a cool interaction with your changelings, your shapeshifters, whatever you want to call them. And I think that as a 1-off, or rather a 3-off, is very, very much worth it in this aggro style deck. However, we do have a deck filled with beasts outside of that. So we have Harbinger. Ignore these 2. We have Lovestruck Beast, we have Questing Beast, and we have Elder Gargaroth. So all of our other creatures in the deck are going to be beasts, as well as our other shape-shifting changelings, whatever you want to call them. They are also considered beasts. So Realm Walker comes down, you claim beasts in almost any of your cards, at least that you see on the top. You'll be able to play down immediately thereafter. Now be careful, because with Lovestruck Beast, you can't cast Heart's Desire. You can't cast the Sorcery Adventure Sod from the top of your deck. You're only going to cast a 5/5 beast. So if you're looking to cast that 1-mana 1/1 whatever, make sure you draw it into your hand and then cast it down. Anyways, Realm Walker, kind of like a mini Vivian ability, 3-mana 2/3 changeling shapeshifter, which means again it's going to come down and be a satyr and all that kind of cool stuff. Whenever it enters the battlefield, you are going to choose beast as your creature type, and then you're going to look at the top card of your library anytime, and you can of course cast creature spells of the chosen type from the top of your library. So any of your beast cards can come off the top for, you know, their appropriate mana cost. So which means you can have a Questing Beast ripped off the top, or a Gargaroth, or whatever. We do have 2 copies of Kazandu Mammoth. It helps with our lands as far as running less lands and, well, having more in beefy creatures, if that makes sense. So it can also come down and be really good with the Great Hinge, or really great aggro with Embercleave. Obviously, if you do a Fable Passage with the Mammoth and then throw a Cleave on it, you're looking at something like an 8/8 with Double Strike and Trample, right? Calatheus, really good at exiling your own graveyard or the opponent's, depending on what kind of foe you're against. Also, if you can manage to turn this online, which is actually pretty easy in this deck, given you have, you know, Gallia, which has 2 hard mana symbols for devotion, Garruk's Harbinger, Kazandu Mammoth, all this stuff that has a lot of devotion. Turning Calatheus online in this deck, actually very real, and then having a 4/5 indestructible creature that you can throw Embercleave onto is, of course, golden. Not to mention the fact that it also deals 2 damage and gains you 2 life, or gains you some mana every round. It's just the cherry on top of the cake, right? Garruk Unleashed helps you to punch through your opponents whenever they're just chum blocking you for days, because of course we see a lot of decks nowadays that have a lot of little 1/1 blockers or 0/1 goats or whatever the heck they may have. So +1, one target creature gets +3/+3 and gains trample. Obviously this is really good on things like Harbinger, even Questing Beast or Gargaroth, just making them all the bigger, and then throwing down Embercleave on it to, well, essentially seal the deal, so to speak. Questing Beast comes down with Death Touch, Haste, Vigilance, 4/4. We've all seen this card before. It's going to be around until it, well, is no longer in standard, right? Very good card. Can get the Embercleave and then deal in 9 points of damage because it only needs to deal 1 to the creature actually blocking it, as it has a Death Touch, right? Next up, we have Gargaroth. Works well against rogue decks, which are still very prevalent, as, well, you'll see today. Anyways, this is 6/6 with Vigilance, Reach, Trample. Whenever it attacks or blocks, you can create a 3/3, gain 3 life, or draw a card. So several things to do there. You can also rip it off the top with your Realm Walker. And then, of course, in the top end, we have Embercleave and the Great Hinge, which are just sort of, you know, again, your finishers. Great Hinge allows you to go to that mid or late game and just get constant value off of draws. And of course, Embercleave allows you to just swing in and knock the opponent silly with your big creatures. Over on our sideboard, I had a couple of maybe cards, so if you want to run Arnie Slays the Troll, you know, let me know how it goes. And same thing with Gem Razor. It's a nice card, but I just didn't feel like it fit in the deck that we had accruing here. So anyways, hope you all enjoyed this deck tech breakdown. If so, please be sure to leave a like down below, comment in the comment section, and of course subscribe if you're new here and you want more of this one-of-a-kind action and Magic, because this is the only place you're going to find these custom brews that actually do some serious damage in ranked. So of course, Shapeshifting Aggro is just one of the few. If you like this deck, check out some of the other decks, check out some of the playlists, but of course not till after, sorry, wording, it's important, not till after you finish this video all the way through. Make sure you're watching through to the end, as we do things like reveal emotes every once in a while, which is going to be happening at the end of this video. So again, make sure you watch through to the end so you can see what new emotes we have coming out. Anyways, without further ado, we're gonna go ahead and dive right into the magic. Robert Heredia Axela, I butchered your name and I'm sorry. We'll just call you Robert from now on. Let me see. So how do y'all like the mic down here, or the camera rather, down here in the bottom corner? Better, worse, doesn't really matter. I'll keep the hand. We got the Realm Walker, so maybe we can find some beasties off the top. Or more land. That's fine, that's fine. I don't think we're gonna drop the Vandal quite yet. We'll just sort of ramp up. If they're not gonna attack us too heavily, which it looks like they're playing Boros, so yeah. Ooh, a Love Struck. Oh, you Love Struck. So we could drop Love Struck 1/1, use Primal Might to have it fight Seasoned Hollowblade. I don't think that's a great idea, if I'm being honest. Good spot, not much to see in that corner of the game board. Yeah, that's somebody else had told me that in the YouTube comments. They were like, yeah, Chance, I don't like where the cam placement is over there, just sort of floating, and it was also covering my little kitty cat avatar. So like, yeah, I'm with y'all. Let's move it around. Let's fit it to the best spot. I think enchantments go down in the bottom right corner, but the only time that should affect this area is when we have a crap ton. And you know, how many decks do we realistically play where I'm playing like 20 enchantments? Sure, one every once in a while. Bone Crusher, so it's a Winota deck. Snoring, boring, Winota. That's fine. They're trying to climb, which means that, you know, you do whatever you gotta do. You do what you need to do. Don't ask me what accent that is. It felt a little Jersey, but also, like, if I call it a Jersey accent, like, that's kind of insulting. So I don't want to say that was my Jersey accent. Y'all have to remember, I'm bad at accents. So if I do an accent, it's not insulting to the holders of the accent. It's insulting more so to my ability at vocal work. So they're so greedy. They're just dropping the Winota here. They said, no problemo, nothing's gonna happen, no siree. No way the opponent has a Great Hinge into a Primal Might. Am I right? Alright, let's go ahead and grab the red mana. Let's plop down the Great Hinge. Take you out. And I don't mean to the ball game. Might cover planeswalkers. Yeah. Well, if we get a planeswalker, I'll just dip and dodge and duck and all that stuff. So the reason I said they were greedy and playing that one note is they didn't have any way to proc her. They didn't have any way to protect her. They just cashed. They just cast her hard for 4 mana and said, I hope the opponent doesn't have anything, right? I hope they have nothing. Now, having the Phoenix Vash, I guess I can see the logic there, and throwing down the Winota, you're like, okay, next turn I'll have this hasted attacker and it'll be great. So we can drop Realm Walker and Garruk's Harbinger. That feels fine. Let's drop you, name Beast, see what we have on top. It's just a land, we're going to draw that, and it is a beast that we can play. Go ahead and drop the mountain, or I definitely don't want to drop the Fabled. All right, let's just drop the mountain. Didn't realize that it was just automatically going to play the the beast side down, but that makes sense because the other side is a sorcery spell, so whatever. We're learning together. I'm making the mistakes so you don't have to. That's what I like to tell people. You know, you say, Chance, you making all these misplays is hard for me to watch, and I say, I'm making all these misplays so you don't have to watch yourself make these misplays. In which case, some people are saying, Chance, shut the heck up. I'm not making those misplays ever. So we're going to double block on the Seasoned Hollowblade because I just don't think that it can get big enough to deal with 2 Lovestruck Beasts. I do think they have an Embercleave, which is kind of, you know, not great, but I don't think an Embercleave Seasoned Hollowblade is enough to punch through 2 Lovestruck Beasts plus to our face, right? There's only 8 damage. We have 11 points of defense here. So, there she blows. You know, the worst thing actually about this is the fact that they don't take out any of our Lovestruck Beasts, so we can't actually Mass Vandal and take out that Phoenix. Or take out the Embercleave, you know what I mean? I suppose... This is interesting. I guess we could just use Realm Walker plus Primal Might, take out Phoenix. You know what? Actually, we're gonna shuffle what we have over here on the side. Show me something better than a land. Show me a beast. Garruk's Harbinger off the top, sure. Oh, and there's a Glade Walker right after, so that's pretty good. It's gonna get a +1/+1 counter. Oh, but okay, all right. This works. This works. +1/+1 counter goes to you, actually. And then we do this for 0, confirm 0. You fight you, right? And then we drop the Vandal. Ha ha! I figured it out. It was a puzzle, and we pieced it together. I got rid of the Embercleave, got rid of the Phoenix, got my Vandal down, got our Harbinger down, all that good shenanigans, and we're getting to smack them around a little bit. Heck yeah. And we almost have a full hand. So, feels much better. This deck feels a lot better with the edits. And I gotta say, Guardian Gladewalker coming in pretty key there. Pretty handy. Robber, not worried about that in the least bit, and that Crusher's not gonna do anything to us either. Shatterskull. I could play the Temple and try and cycle that out, or I could play a creature and draw the Shatterskull, and then use the Shatterskull to remove their creatures, which seems like the best plan if I'm being honest. So plus up on the Harbinger, and then we can deal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 if I play you, right? Autopay. And don't think we have lethal, but at the same time, we are manhandling their side of the board. So they're down to 6. We still have a full board state. Choose one. Choose one? I guess Gargaroth. Alright. GG, Robert. Picking up the victory. Alright, that's much better. That is much more aggro-ish. I hope we find more than 2 lands, but, you know, I got faith. Even if we don't, we have the Gallia plus the Swarm Shambler, so we can try and draw some cards, right? Triome, 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 Triome. Am I playing the Gallia here, or am I getting down Swarm Shambler plus beefing up our other one? I think we're going to make Gallia a surprise. So I think we're getting down Swarm Shambler and beefing up the other one. I think our opponent's Teamer. If that's the case, we kind of want to try and beat them down before things go too late. Having both Swarm Shamblers down, though, is pretty good. That means if they go to target 1, we'll get 2 1/1s back off of that one. Alright? So thanks for that. Thank you kindly. Do I want the Harbinger down? Oh, and a Realm Walker as well? Harbinger's just so good if we can get it to hit, you know? 4 mana we won't have a play. 5 mana we'll have a play. I guess we could go Gallia plus beef up Swarm Shambler, still swing in with what we have there. Yeah, let's do that. This is still immediate card draw. We still get to beef that thing up. So swing, swing, swing. Take action. Getting rid of a Harbinger. Yeah, cool beans. Oh, cancel. Next to damage. Got another Gallia and a Mass Vandal. I was kind of looking for a land, but sure. Drawing those 2 playables out means that we do have a better chance of finding a land now, so. Flooding the board is going well, check. We need to make sure we're not hitting Storm's Wrath, but even if we do, you know, we still have a pretty full hand of creatures. Let's tap that Swarm Shambler. They're going to try and remove it again? They are indeed. Why the Shambler over the Gallia, though? You know what I mean? Like, we didn't have any other +1/+1 counters on the board. I just feel like you have better options there. Alright, so do we swing in with the Gallia and see what we draw first, or do we drop the Realm Walker, name Beast, and hope we find another fungal thing? I say we drop you, name Beast, because you gain haste as well, right? Gargaroth, hey, howdy, howdy. Let's take that action. Ah, I was really hoping it would discard the Gallia. Oh, and there's a Fable Passage, and we know that we have the Embercleave already. So that Fable Passage could either equate to an Elder Gargaroth for us, or that Cleave, which, you know, the opponent's very close to death, so maybe the Cleave is where we want to be. Either way, deck feels a lot more on par with what we were shooting for before, right? Where we have a lot of aggro, we got the creatures replacing off the Swarm Shamblers. Fire Prophecy on the Gallia, finally, but we do still have another Gallia, so it's really not even that big of a deal. They have 2 mana here. What are the chances that that's just some bounce spells? Shatter Skull, I don't mind shuffling that away. We have plenty of mana right now, and into a Fabled as well, so whatever. You know, I think we still go for the Embercleave. It's only going to cost us 2 mana, and we can still follow it up with a Harbinger, so sure. Why would I not? You know, no, wait! Oh, no! Darn it, Chance. Well, then in this scenario, however you want to say that, I think we drop Gargaroth. If they're going to have removal, massive board wiping removal, it's going to be Storm's Wrath, in which case we want the Gargaroth, not the Harbinger, right? Drawari's Disruption. Man, oh man, I wish I had played my Embercleave if that's all they were holding. Y'all know me, I get too trigger happy with the freaking clicking and stuffs. Yeah, whatever. Drop the Gallia, we still have enough for the Embercleave off the back of the Fable Passage. This should be fine, right? Also, they already have, like, we have lethal on board, so. GG, taking them out. TY Jelly. I thought it was KY Jelly. But maybe that's the joke. You know what I mean? Maybe they're saying, thank you, Jelly. Where would my PB and J be without the J? And I understand that. I am a connoisseur of a peanut butter jelly sandwich, let me tell you right now. Even we can, you know the Smucker's Uncrustable little, they're frozen originally, but then you set them out and they'll thaw and then they become delicious, delicious little treats that are also kind of filling. we run through a box of those in like 3 days. It's kind of ridiculous. We actually have to stop buying them because we kind of waste money on buying sandwiches that we can make for ourselves. It's just the convenience of it, you know? There's something to be said about convenience when you work 2 jobs and your spouse or whatever, you know, partner also works a job and you have, you know, animals to take care of. You got life going on, so convenience does come at a fee as per the usual, right? Now we could use Primal Might, take that 1/1 and shove it right towards that ooze if we just wanted to cause some havoc. Is that really the kind of person we want to be though? Kinda, I'm not gonna lie. I'm very, very tempted to be that kind of person. But I think I'm just gonna drop the Love Struck Beast 1/1 and we'll call it square. Circle, cubed. We'll call it a shape and we'll move on. Do we double block? It's mono green, and it's probably mono green beatdown. They don't have anything that they can, like, I don't see why we wouldn't double block, right? I'm good with going long. Are you? Are you okay with going long? Into a beast? And then I drop a beast. But what if they turn around and Primal Might my beast with their beast, and then we're just behind on the beast train? Decisions. Of course, if they don't have a Primal Might, we're good. TY Jelly, they're just... Okay. We get to go first, and we're going to call you TJ because the first character there kind of looks like either a backwards C or a T, and then the second one kind of looks like a J facing the wrong way, so hope that's okay. Although I guess this one looks more like a T than this one, and that looks like an A. I don't know. That puts us to 4 lands. 4 is kind of nice, and that is the double green we would need for the Kazandu, so I'm going to keep this that way. Voice crack. That way we can curve out properly with our lands, right? So we'll go ahead and drop the Glade Walker, and it'll just put a counter on itself. And this way, if we do get a Gallia down, now at least it's a 3/3, and, you know, all that kind of nice stuff. All that nice stufferino. Also, if we get down a Swarm Shambler, then it gets targeted, then we'll get the, you know, insect back from it, which is a much more niche situation. It's probably just gonna get Bone Crusher. Yep, crushing my bones, and please leave me alone. Anyways, we'll drop the Mammoth next turn, drop a land plus Beast. That will be a potential for 9 points of damage, which is almost half health in them, so it's pretty nice, especially if they just Bone Crusher Giant here. Then we'll be perfectly fine. Time Merit Calls the Dead, kind of the same difference. They're putting down a creature that they're not really going to block with. You know, a creature that they shouldn't be blocking with, rather. So I think we drop this. You go to a 5/5, we drop Beast. We can also use Primal Might, take out that 2/2. Mammoth goes up to 8. We're dealing 8. We keep Beast back with the haste. I feel like Primal Might's going to be better used later, though. You know what I mean? Some of that key removal. So, we'll hold on to it. Next turn, we can drop the Shatter Skull, pay 3 life, and drop Elder Gargaroth. So, we haven't not dropped a creature so far, which is just a great place to be as far as Gruul goes when you got the Mammoth and the Beast and the Gargaroth. You got all these big, heavy creatures, right? Thankfully, they don't have a Kroxa in the graveyard, so they don't have a Kroxa they can escape, because they are at proper mana for that. By the way, I like your mana here. It's the... Is that Amonkhet? It's hard for me to keep up with all the different sets that came out in Historic, because y'all know I'm more of a Standard person. It's hard for me to keep up with Standard, much less Historic. So, they're saving their mana. They gotta have some removal then, right? It's gotta be some hard removal. Mire Triton. Well, that's not hard removal. I mean, it does take out the Mammoth pretty well, pretty excellently, but it can't touch the Beast. Can't even touch the Beast. So, dropping you, and we can deal 2 with this to the Mire Tritons. You know what I mean? Split it up, deal 2. if I don't want to drop the Gargaroth, and I want to drop the Gargaroth, but I feel like this play is so very awesome. So pay 1 here. And again, we could use the Primal Might here to take out one of their creatures. It would save us on the scry and all that. Let's go for the attack. Let's see if they chum block. If they chum block, I'm much more tempted to take out that other zombie and give them 0 scry, 0 life gain, right? Let's do it. They only have 3 cards in hand. Let's punish them. Let's keep them low. Bam! Alright, so no scry, no life gain for them. They're still at 11. We have 7 on board. If we were to hit a Fabled, I mean, that's lethal, right? Because Kazandu goes up to 7 damage. We have questing, so Fabled equals lethal. If not, we still have mana for Embercleave. We have mana for Great Hinge. We have mana for Elder Gargaroth. So, again, we're still in a pretty good position. They just drop a Bone Crusher. Fabled, Swarm Shambler. It's kind of like a Fabled if you don't think about it. Both of them tap, you know what I mean? Anyways, we're going all in. They, of course, will block with the Bone Crusher here. Probably to the Beast. Indeed, indeed. Even though Mammoth has a little bit more potential as far as big board wiping potential, or board presence, you know, with the Fabled and all that kind of stuff, I can understand taking out the Questing Beast. It has Vigilance. It's much harder to block with the Mire Tritons and whatnot. Blood Chief's Thirst onto our Gargaroth. Onto the Gargarotho. That's lethal. That's easily lethal. Lethal. Sorry, I'll stop. Happy to be taking down Rakdos mid-range, though. Y'all know that deck. It's something about it. It always gets me. Maybe it's the constant removal. Maybe it's the Death Touch creatures. There's just always too many factors. But hey, we're going 4-0 now with Shape-Shifting Aggro. And I gotta say, I think we're onto something, ladies and gentlemen.